All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, as you see on the screen here, we're going to be checking out Red Purple Trafalgar Law. This leader has been an absolute menace in the East over at OP07 and OP08. And, you know, we're just now getting into OP07 in the West. So we are going to talk about this leader. And don't worry, for all the players out there who follow my channel, for all of my off-meta decks and all of that stuff, you know, the more rogue decks, don't worry, I have not forgotten my roots. That's my stuff. That's my specialty. I love my channel's probably more known for that nowadays. I don't know what it's like literally known for other than just being a One Piece channel. But I think if someone had to describe my channel to a random person, like, yeah, he likes to go over a lot of the off-meta decks, like some of the decks that not many people are exploring. And that's what I want to be, right? That's kind of where I want to be at. I've expressed interest, obviously, in commentating. That's something I really love to do as well. But the other thing about my channel is I really want to show off decks that no one's talking about. That, you know, decks that people want to work, but maybe they can't get it to work. I want to help get people there. But at the same time, I want to have something for everyone on this channel. So that's why, you know, my last three videos was like Black Yellow Luffy, Lucci, Enel, and now Red Purple Law. Like, yeah, I do want to have something for everyone. Even the super competitive players, I want them to be able to have something on the channel that they can enjoy as well. But don't worry, guys. We'll be going back to the janky stuff very soon, the rogue decks very soon. Or I should just call them off-meta decks. That's probably the most politically correct way to say it. All right, so anyway, let me give you guys a quick breakdown of today's video. We do have a lot to talk about. Let me give you a quick layout. First, we're going to be checking out an announcement from the East that came up at the end of last night's broadcast tournament, or this morning, I guess, technically for us in the West. Pretty interesting announcement. We're going to talk about that. And it might even pertain to this leader. We'll have to see. Then after that, we will check out two new spoiled leaders. And don't worry, I'll have everything, you know, time-stamped in the general description of the video, so you can skip the spoilers if you don't want to see those. I respect that. Excuse me. From there, we will check out the meta. We'll do a meta breakdown of the OP07 and OP08 formats from the East. Because remember, guys, we just got OP07 over here in the West. So there's not too much to talk about from our meta over here just yet. We're more going to analyze what already happened over in the East and what's going on in OP08 in the East. Okay, then we'll go from there to 3 games on the sim. We got 3 games on the sim. Then we'll go from there over to the sim, the actual One Piece TCG sim, and I'll show you the deck list I'm running, give you guys a quick breakdown on that, and we'll wrap up that way, and then we'll finish off the video with an art critique. Okay, all right. So you know what we're getting into, guys. Sorry, guys, my mustache is all itching. So you know what we're getting into, guys. Let's go ahead and hop into it. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of interesting stuff to talk about here. And first and foremost, we're going to talk about this announcement right here that came on at the very end of yesterday's or this morning's stream, or whatever you want to call that, from the East. On August 12th, which is a Monday, it says holiday. I don't know the holiday off the top of my head for August 12th. But for Monday, August 12th, they're going to have a live stream of the Wave 1 Finals and banned restricted cards announced. Interesting. So we're going to, and I will say this, guys, at the time we're recording this video, it is June 30th, okay? So we've got a good month and a half before this happens, or somewhere around there, somewhere thereabouts, where we hear about the banned and restricted cards. What do you guys think it's going to be? I'm sure a lot of people are starting to think, like, maybe it'll be Gordon. Maybe it'll be Red Purple Law, the leader. I don't know. Or it would be interesting, in my opinion, if they did like a small ban for Red Purple Law, like maybe ban Gordon and maybe do a restriction on something like Black Maria, and then unban Sakazuki. I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying they will, but I think it would be very interesting. You guys tell me what y'all think down in the comment section below. I'm very interested to know what you guys think about what's going to be on that banned and restricted list. I also want to say, excuse me, I also want to say one more card that I think might be on there. Potentially, maybe Gecko Moria. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm not saying any of this will be on there. We're just thinking out loud right now, right, guys? We're just doing some brainstorming. We're just kind of thinking about what it could be. Trying to predict it. It's all speculation currently. Okay, now, excuse me. From here, we got to go over to some spoilers. Spoiler warning. You know, back out now if you don't want to see any spoilers. Now's your chance. All right, first up here, guys, we have a new leader from OP09, Monkey D. Luffy, purple and black. Interesting. 4 life, 5,000 power, strike leader. Yonko, I wonder if that's supposed to be for the 4 emperors. Straw Hat Pirates, Dawn ×1. Your characters have +1 cost. Okay, that's whatever, right? That's not the most exciting effect. Not saying it's worthless. Not saying it's horrible. That's not the most exciting effect. But check out this next one, guys. During your turn, once per turn, when 2 or more Dawn cards are returned to your Dawn deck from play, set up to one of... Well, okay, that's worded very weird. Set up to 1 from your Dawn deck as active and up to 1 from your Dawn deck as rested. So you see what's going on, right? Like, let's say you have an effect that returns 2 Dawn. Okay, well, when those 2 Dawn go back, then 1 will come right back into play. Like, if those go back to your Dawn deck, well, now they come right back into play, 1 rested and 1 active. Pretty cool, right? That's a decent way to, you know, mitigate your Dawn loss effects. But one question that I have is, do you have to do both Dawn effects in one, or excuse me, do you have to return 2 Dawn with 1 effect, or can you return 1 Dawn from, like, playing out a Queen, and then return 1 Dawn from playing out another card that might return 1 Dawn? You see what I'm saying? Is it during the course of your entire turn when 2 or more Dawn cards are returned, or does it have to be a single effect that returns 2 Dawn or more? That's a question I have that I'm not sure about. If you guys know, by all means, you know, say something in the comment section below. Okay. As far as the leader goes, I think this leader is very powerful. I think it's very interesting. But I think what you're going to be trying to do, it's purple, right? And it has Luffy as its leader. Of course, I think the main goal of this deck will be to ramp to 10 Dawn and, you know, plop down the 10 cost Luffy. That gives you an extra turn. You'll get 2 Dawn back immediately from the leader's effect. Tap down 1 of those Dawn you just got back to activate the Luffy's effect. You're up to 3 Dawn. And then the next turn, you'll be going up to 5 and then 6 Dawn after you activate the leader's effect. Or excuse me, not the leader effect. The 10 cost Luffy's effect again. So I see what they're trying to go for here. It's just ramp straight to your 10 Dawn characters and try to get momentum that way. Seems pretty good. Seems very solid. Will it be good enough? I have no idea. We'll have to see. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Very interesting leader, but I'm not as excited about this leader as I am about the next one. Or I'm not as excited for this leader as I am about the next one, if that made more sense. Nico Robin, guys, check it out. Finally, we get Nico Robin, purple, yellow, 4 life, 5,000 power, strike leader, Straw Hat Pirates. That was... I wish they had something on there so that they could, like, even if they had, like, Straw Hat Baroque. I understand. I'm not trying to get into any lore arguments. Bear with me. I'm just talking about for, like, game balance. It's too bad she didn't have access to the Baroque work stuff for the "Oh Come My Way" type of interactions. Oh well, it is what it is. But this leader has Banish. Like, you know how we have leaders now. One has block, right? Rosinante has blocker. We have Yamato has double attack. This leader has Banish, guys. Banish. And when attacking, you may trash 1 card with the trigger from your hand and add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as rested. I'm a big fan of this one, guys. Like, I think this leader is going to be very solid. I don't want to give any crazy predictions just yet. I don't want to overhype it because we don't know, right? We don't know how good it's going to be just yet. But I can tell you guys right now, I think this leader is going to be very, very solid. A leader with Banish. So now, you know, think about it. I'm just giving one idea of what you can do. Attaching 2 Dawn to this leader, swinging for 7, is now going to force 2 cards out of your opponent's hand every single time, or they're going to start losing, you know, cards from their life. And that means no trigger. Remember, Banish, no trigger. All right? And it's also obviously not going to their hand. So it's like, whew, that is brutal, right, guys? That is absolutely brutal. Very powerful leader effects here. And then the ability to just ramp by trashing trigger cards. Well, it's running yellow, so I'm sure it's going to have no problem trashing trigger cards to ramp up, you know. And you only need to use that when attacking effect probably like 2, maybe 3 times a game, right? Because think if you go first. Okay, turn 1 pass, right? Turn 2, you're on 3. Attack, you're at 4. So next turn, turn 3, you know, you're going to go to 6 Dawn because you went up to 4. Attack, go to 7. And then, so you probably actually want to use this effect maybe twice. Like, twice is probably the most you want to use this, whether you go first or second. So you're not going to have to trash too many cards, but maybe you are. Maybe part of the plan for this deck will be to, you know, lose a lot of Dawn to KO stuff and to keep using this leader's effect. I don't know. We'll have to see, guys. We'll have to see what happens. And it is Straw Hat Pirates. I mean, I guess not that that matters. You can run the 10-cost Luffy in anything, but maybe you'll make a Straw Hat Pirates version of the deck where you just want to ramp straight to 10 Dawn, bust out the 10-cost, and then next turn start gaining your Dawn back. You know, maybe. I'm just saying that's one option. The thing I like most about this leader is actually that it has Banish. I wish this was on. So for those who know me, my main two colors are black and yellow in this game. I liked them way before they were good or anything crazy like they might be considered now. But hear me out, guys. I wanted Banish on a black and yellow leader. I might have to just settle for purple yellow for now. It is what it is. Oh well. But yeah, I do really wish that. I really wish this could have been a black yellow leader with some similar effects, and instead of like ramping Dawn, do something else, you know, to do with the black card pool. All right. Anyway, that's enough. Really cool stuff here. Tell me what you guys think about this leader. I can't wait to see more support from this leader, and I want to see, you know, what OP09 has to offer, you know, for support for all of these leaders we've seen. Okay, that's enough of the crazy stuff. Let's get back, you know, back to our regularly scheduled program here. We got to talk about the meta, okay? We got to talk about the West and the East. First up, we're going to check out OP07 from the East. So I guess, did I say West and East? We're mainly just going to be looking at the East, to be honest, or just like exclusively. So I mentioned this in like every video now, but the East in OP07 in the East, there were no major tournaments. The largest tournament was actually this 300-player flagship, and then a huge 2,100-player 3-on-3 tournament. Those are the two decks we're going to look at from the East, and this is what we need to consider. For us in here in the West. Over here in the West, we need to consider these because that's what we're in now. So let's see what's working for them. We'll check it out real quick. Okay, and we'll also look at the leader too. I'll do a quick leader breakdown, and then we'll blast through this list. So this was a 300-player first place list. Let me knock out the leader for the new players real quick, and we'll go from there. 5,000 power, 4 life, activate main once per turn, Dawn -3. A lot going on. Activate on your main turn once per turn. Return 3 Dawn cards from your field. Place up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less at the bottom of the owner's deck, and play up to 1 character card with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. So you see what's going on. It only hits a 3,000 power character. So in our deck, we're going to need more options to lower the power of our characters through the red cards, right? And then the purple cards we want to cheat out are going to offset our Dawn loss, our loss of Dawn here. Because you only gain 2 Dawn per turn. So if you're losing 3 Dawn per turn, you're going the wrong direction, right? So red is what we're going to use to lower the cost of our opponent's characters. Purple we're going to use to offset the Dawn that we're losing from the effect. And that way we're going to generate advantage from our free leader's effect. Okay, now I'm going to run through this list and we're going to talk about it after I get through it all. There are 4 Gordons, 4 Raise Max, 4 Kid and Killer, 4 Tony Chopper, 3 Queen, 4 Ein, 1 Miss All Sunday, 4 Shashi and Penguin, 3 Trafalgar Law, 4 Eustace Kid, 4 Reiju, 4 Mr. Boncray Bentham, and then we have 2 Sanji. This is a new OP07 2K counter Sanji. Let me say this real quick. There are no OP07 cards in this list at all. The only OP07 card in this list was a 2K counter Sanji, which was very easily, you know, kind of replaced, so to speak, in OP06.5. But it is a very strong card, and let me read what it does real quick, and we'll talk about it. So 6 cost, 6,000 power, 2K counter, blocker. That doesn't seem great on paper, but listen to the other effect. While you have 2 or fewer Dawn cards than your opponent in your hand, this card costs 3 less. This card costs 3 less in your hand is how it should read. So in other words, remember, we can cheat out a 4 or less. Well, if our opponent has like 8 Dawn and we have 6 or less Dawn, as long as you have 2 or more less Dawn than your opponent, I know that sounds confusing, but as long as you have 2 or more less Dawn than your opponent, you can cheat this card into play from the leader's effect, even though he costs 6, because this drops him down to a 3 cost in hand. Very, very powerful effect there, guys. And it still only runs 2 of these. And I think I agree with that. As far as 2K counters go in this deck, this one, are we missing? Yeah, we are missing 5 cards. And I can almost promise you, I don't know for sure, but I can almost guarantee you he's missing his 2K counters. Because the only 2K counter he has in this deck is literally 2 of them. So he's probably, the other 5 cards that are missing are probably all 2K, excuse me, he does have Shashi and Penguin, what am I talking about? But he's missing, I feel like he's missing 4 2K counters, and then maybe a Miss All Sunday and a queen, something like that, or even 2 queens. We'll have to see. I'm not exactly sure, but I think he's missing 4 Otamas. Typically speaking, these lists run 4 Shashi and Penguin, 4 Otama, and 2 Sanji, or they'll switch it where it's like 3 Sanji, 3 Otamas. Like, I've seen quite a few different like variations, and you can do whatever you want with it. As far as the bulk goes, just know, guys, that this Gordon card is a 1 cost 2,000 power card with no counter. It's mainly used for its activate main, which bottom decks the card, and then minus 3,000 power to a character for the turn. So you're going to put this card on the bottom of your deck and give another character minus 3,000 power. Now you can use your leader effect to bottom deck anything that's 6,000 power or less, you know, as base power. Raise Max is the exact same thing as Gordon. And, you know, that's why I do think I would not be surprised if this card gets the ban or restricted hammer as soon as, you know, the ban or restriction, when they do mention whatever those are going to be on, what was, I already forgot. It was like August, sometime in August. I think it was August 12th or something. But I wouldn't be surprised if this card gets banned, because this is a promo card. This is not your standard card. This is a promo card, and it's up to like $30 or $40 US dollars, which is outrageous. When this card is a uncommon from OP06, that's like probably 10 cents, maybe 50 cents a card. I don't know. I don't know the exact price of this, so please don't quote me on it, but you guys know what I mean. Now, Kid and Killer is the gas in this deck that just kind of ends the game. You should not just be playing this card out all willy-nilly. You should be playing this card out to win the game. Like, notice this. Okay, it's a 4-cost 5K with Rush. That's not very good on paper, actually, because we already have access to a 3-cost 5K with Rush in Zoro. But this is a 4-cost 5K with Rush that has, when attacking, if your opponent has 2 or less life cards, this character gains plus 2,000 power for the turn. So you're trying to play this after they're at 2 or less life, and then you can, you know, get in extra damage with that. Now, Tony Chopper is a very good card that got overlooked in most of EB06, I think. And now it's seeing some or EB06, EB01, guys, which is considered OP06.5. But I think in OP07, I think this card is actually very solid. And notice, like I said, this is in OP07 in the East. Okay, Tony Chopper, though, is a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter blocker with Dawn ×2. When attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power for the turn. He's a blocker. You can cheat out if needed with your leader effect. After that, and he's a 1K counter in hand, but then after he's on the field, if he survives a turn, if you didn't need to block with him, and if they don't remove it, now you're giving him minus 3,000 power to characters for the turn. Outrageously good with this leader, guys. Outrageously good. Because then he's still attacking, and they have to deal with him the following turn. Right, so the card is so good. Most people are running Queen as a 4-of now, and this card has seen a little bit of a drop down in its price, which is really good. But this is a 5-cost, 6,000 power, 1K blocker. On play, Dawn -1, draw 2, and trash a card. Just a really good way to refill your hand. Not as good as Reiju. 4-cost, 5K, 1K counter. On play, if you have equal to or less Dawn than your opponent and 5 or less cards in hand, draw 2 cards. This card, so Queen and Reiju are basically auto-include 4-ofs now. Like, just in every list I think you're going to see going forward, especially in OP08. It's just so nice to be able to refresh your hand, because with your leader effect, think about it, you're trying to play out a Gordon to reduce the cost of one of their characters, not the cost, reduce the power of one of their characters, and then cheat out a card like Ein, or cheat out a card like Law, or whoever, right? Well, you just use 2 cards in hand, so your hand size is going down very quickly. But when you play out a card like Queen, now you're drawing 2 trashing 1, you're fixing your hand, getting rid of the dead cards in hand, or with Reiju, you're just straight up drawing 2 cards. It really gives the deck a lot of extra gas. Miss All Sunday is interesting. Maybe this should be a 4th Queen that the player didn't have. But it's a 5-cost 5K on play. Add up to 1 rested Dawn card to your cost area. And if you have 6 or more Dawn, draw a card. So on play, you ramp this, like, excuse me, not on play. When you play this, like, on curve, you're going to draw a card from it and ramp a Dawn. It's really solid. And then the trigger is actually really good, too. Because the on play can still happen. If you're at 6 or more Dawn when this occurs, and after the Dawn -2, then you can play this card out to ramp a Dawn and draw a card. So that is really solid. There's a lot of potential there, and now you have a body that they have to deal with as well, a 5-cost body, which is a lot harder to deal with than a 3 or a 4-cost body. We talked about Sanji a little bit. The other card that's actually starting to disappear from play in OP08, and we'll see that in a minute, is Mr. 2 Bonkure Bintham. It is a 4-cost, 1,000 power, 1K counter, on play, add 1 Dawn card and set it as active. And then when attacking, you can match the power of one of your opponent's characters for the turn. One of your opponent's characters, not one of yours. That is good. Like, this is a solid card. This is a really solid card. But the problem is it's so easy to deal with for your opponent if they're playing red, purple, law. Right, or anything with red, because a lot of red KO is based off of power, so it's just so easy to KO the card. And especially, like I said, if you're running Trafalgar Law, they don't even have to use a Gordon. They'll just reduce the power of that, or excuse me, they'll just bottom deck that character with a leader's effect and cheat out a card for the turn, and then you just wasted your 4 Dawn turn. I mean, you do still at least get to add Dawn from the effect. It's never a true waste, but hopefully you guys see what I'm saying. And then last but not least, the card, or actually, let me talk about this card, then last but not least, Ein is just really good. Some people are playing Beppo here. This card is just more consistently always going to give you Dawn, no matter if you're in the mirror match or not. It's a 4-cost 5k body, which is very good. But its one major, massive weak side is it does not have a counter. Okay, but it is a 4-cost 5k that automatically gets you a Dawn on play, so it is a very solid card. But some people are still running Beppo in this spot, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then last but not least, I think this is like one of the best cards in the deck because it allows you to punish less experienced players. It allows you to punish anyone, but like, listen to what it does. 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter, blocker, on play, Dawn -1. If your opponent has 7 or more cards in their hand, they have to trash 2 cards from their hand. And it's random. They don't get to pick the 2. This wording might not be exactly correct, but the idea is you trash 2 cards from their hand. So it ends up being a random trashing of the cards. They don't get to pick what they are. And it's a blocker. It's a 4-cost 5k. It's a 1k counter. It came out in ST10 with the leader, right? So it literally was built for this interaction. So really strong synergy there. Okay, now let's check out one more, the first place list from the 2100 player tournament for Red Purple Law. And now, yeah, here we go. So as I was saying in that last list, that last list was missing some cards, and this is probably a more complete, accurate list right here. Yeah, it's got the 2 Sanjis. Now this one's running Zoro Juro. We'll talk about that in a second, and it's running the Ein. But it's running 2 Miss All Sundays. It's running 3 Queens. It's running 3 Otamas. It's got the 4 Shashi and Penguin. So this list is only running 4, 6, 9 2K counters, it looks like. But it is running Shariah. Shariah is a card that they've added. What all did they add to this list so I can talk about those in particular? Okay, only 2 cards. It only added Shariah, and it only added Zoro Juro. This card I'll talk about first. It's just very straightforward. It's a ramp card. It allows you, if you play this out on curve, if you go first, just boom, play it out on turn 2. If they don't deal with it, and if you have 3 or less life, you can start adding Dawn active whenever you attack. So, and it's a 1k counter in hand. You can cheat it out if you need to. It's just everything you need it to be, right? It's just kind of everything you need it to be. Okay, and then the other card, the other new card that we're going to see here is Shariah. This is actually a tech card against Luffy, against Black-Yellow Luffy. And that's about it, because any other deck can just remove this card very easily. And I'm actually surprised to even see this card, because it is just so easy to remove, even for Luffy. They just pop it with the new Rocket Boots Luffy. It's just so easy to get rid of. But if they don't, and if they, if they're trying to do something else that turn, it forces them to turn this card into what I said, like, make it be, how do I say that? Let me slow down. If they don't remove this card, then it will stop every leader attack for a 1k counter. That's how this card works. And when you need to attack, you'll match the leader as well, so they have to get out with at least a 1k counter. So really good stuff there. And then everything else is the exact same. I didn't really talk about this. Wait, was this character not in? That must have been what was missing. Oh gosh, I lost the, let me go back to, I think that's what was missing from the other one. ST10 Law, where it was the 300 player tournament. Here it is. I don't think Eustace Kid was, it was in here. I just didn't actually talk about it. Sorry, guys. I actually skipped over this character. I think everyone knows what it does by now. It's a 5-cost 6k, 1k counter blocker that has on your turn, once per turn, when a Dawn is returned, you get to return a Dawn, just 1 Dawn. Like, so even if 5 Dawns returned, you only get to return 1 Dawn, and it'll come into play as active. Very, very solid card. Sorry, guys. I totally forgot about that one. Okay, but that's it, guys. Like, that's it for OP06. Now, or excuse me, for OP07. Now let's see what happened in OP08. Not a whole lot of differences, but the differences that did happen are massive. So we're going to check out some of these first place lists, right? Like this one, 512 player tournament, Red Purple Law. Let's check it out. Okay. Now this deck goes back to what we were seeing a lot more in EB01 or OP06.5 is what they call that format. It's running 2 Zoros. Okay. This is just 3-cost 5k rush Zoro. It's just an alt art for it. And then the Toy Law, there was a 4-cost 5,000 power 1k counter. This is another promo like Gordon. On play, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. So with the leader effect, you're able to get down a 5,000 power character easily, and it's just and it's a 4-cost 5k body, just really strong. Then here are the two main new cards. Everything else here we've seen before. Everything else we've already talked about. But check out these new cards that came out in OP08. Okay, guys? Didn't have access to this before, but let me explain how good these cards are. 3 cost, 4,000 power, 1k counter. Your play once per turn. When your Dawn is returned to your Dawn deck, add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck at rest. So it's the same thing as the 5 cost Useless Kid we were just talking about, but this card's not a blocker, and it doesn't bring the card into play, the Dawn card into play active. It puts it into play rested. Then there's Black Maria. New 2k counter, 3 cost, 2,000 power, 2k counter. Activate main once per turn. If you have no other Black Marias in play, you can't have multiples of these in play. Add up to 5 Dawn from your Dawn deck rested. Add 5. 5 Dawn ramp, guys. But listen to the stipulation at the end here. Then at the end of your turn, return Dawn from your field to the Dawn deck until the number of Dawn on your field is equal to your opponent's field. So it's going to bring it back down in line with your opponent. But guys, this these two cards right here, and they're both 3 drops, which is actually so important, because before it actually felt better to go second as Red Purple Law. Not to say you couldn't win going first, but going second felt better as Red Purple Law. Now you go first. Going first is actually ideal. Like, that's what you want to do. It says 51 cards. Am I not? Okay, I was gonna say I didn't see this card on the list. I thought I was losing. I was like, no, you have to run Kid and Killer. It's just too good. Okay, so anyway, these cards you now play right out on curve, going first, and it feels really good. And you start the aggression with your leader attacking, and it allows you to set up so much, which can also lead straight into a Eustace Kid turn 3. It's just kind of perfect for what you're doing, or even a queen. There's a lot of different options, because the idea is, like I said, if you play this out, here's one of like the really strong combos. I think we're going to see it in the games that I have for us on the sim today. Go first, swing for 5 with your leader on turn 2, and then play this card out. Return 3 Dawn to bottom deck whatever your opponent just played, cheating out your Shashian Penguin, going back up to 2 Dawn, and then this gives you the 3rd Dawn back. So you just cheated out a body, swung for 5, and you got 2 bodies down at one time, and bottom decked any searcher they might have had on the field. It is very strong. And you can do the same thing with Black Maria. It's just you go back down to 2 Dawn at the end of the turn, because your opponent should be at 2 Dawn if you went first. But this, you guys will see this pop up a lot. This card is very good. And remember what I was saying. 4 Queen, 4 Reiju, that becomes the absolute norm in OP08. Like, you want to draw as many cards as possible, and you have all the other stuff you need already built in. Especially now that your Dawn fixing is so strong. You don't need, notice they're not running Ein. They don't need Ein anymore, because Pudding and Black Maria just do what they need them to do. And they do it a turn earlier too, on 3 Dawn instead of 4 Dawn. So really good stuff there. Now let's look at one more list. That was a 512 list from Thailand. Let's look at one from maybe, here's a 1,000 plus player one. Yeah, perfect. We'll finish off with this one. 1,000 player tournament, first place. Red Purple Law. This is in Tokyo. This is in Japan. And the list looks identical to what we just saw, guys. Look at that. Every single card's the exact same. It looks like there's just a few different numbers. Like there's only 1 Zoro and there's 4 Otamas in this one. I think it was 3 and 2 in the last one. I'm going to check real quick. I'm sorry, guys. I do want to check. Okay. Yeah, it was 2 and 2. And then let me look through this real quick just so I know. All 4s had 3 Trafalgar Law, 1 Chopper, 2, 2, and 2 up here. Okay, now let me look at the other list real quick. It looks like they had... Let me also make sure it's 51 cards. Yeah, it is. They have 2 Sanjis and 4 Otamas, so they kind of swapped that number around. They're still running the 3 Laws. They're running the 2 Choppers, 1 Zoro, and 3 of the 4 cost Toy Law. There you go, guys. That's it. Not much more to talk about. This list is pretty much perfected. I don't think it can get much better than this. There might be a few choices you can swap in and out here and there. Like, you don't necessarily have to run Tony Chopper. I guess you could run, like, Shiraya in this spot if you want to. But this card seems like it's so much more aggressive. And this also plays more into your going first idea. If you somehow did not draw a Charlotte Pudding or a Black Maria on turn 1 after the mulligan, then, okay, there's got to be some kind of chance you drew Tony Chopper instead. You know what I mean? So that we should still be able to go first. And go, swing 5 on turn 1 and drop a Tony Chopper, setting up the initiative for the next turn. Okay, all right, that's it for the Red Purple Law list, guys. Now let's go ahead and hop over to the games on the sim. All right, my favorite part of the videos. These are my absolute favorite parts, is commentating over games. All right, we're good over here. Full screen. Volume is off. Speed is 2x. And here we go. First game up is Enel. And guys, this, Enel is going to be very strong at OP07. Now, understand, we are in OP08. You can see the pudding in my hand here. I'm going to swing for 5 at my opponent. They actually counter out. And then I play out the pudding, Dawn -3, and I cheat out the Shashi Penguin and go right back up to 3 Dawn. They swing for 7 with Banish. I actually just take it as opposed to countering out because I'd rather keep the 2 cards in hand rather than save my life in that situation. I'm going to stay aggressive here. I'm going to swing 5. He's countering out very aggressively. I like to see that, so I'm going to keep on the aggression. He's playing smart because he knows I'm going to go like 2 or 3 attacks wide every turn. Okay, and also that was pretty nice there because I'm going to have to pass my turn back if he can. I'm going to bottom deck the Nami there, cheat out the Reiju, draw 2 cards, and then I gain a Dawn back from that card there. Gain all the way back up to 4 cards or 4 Dawn because of the Black Maria. 5 into 4. I think I actually counter out of this. I can't remember. I do because I don't want him to get too much because he's going to get to attack in with that Luffy. Now use the Nami to KO, and now I have to get that Luffy off the board, right? Like that thing is way too dangerous. So we're going to go 6 into it 3 times. Okay, he lets it go on the first time. Sorry if I lost track there, guys. I got a little excited there. The game was really starting to heat up. I play out Gordon here. Dawn minus 2,000 power to the Nami. I can get rid of that very easily now. I probably did that in incorrect sequencing, but that's okay. So right there, he is able to get rid of that card. Play out the Reiju to draw. Bottom deck that. Play out the Beppo. Unfortunately, I had equal Dawn to my opponent, so I could not gain a Dawn with Beppo. I think that's what just happened, or did I miss it? I'm not sure. I think I missed it, but either way, Beppo's very solid. Maybe I did get a Dawn. I just wasn't paying attention. Okay, so he's just getting triggers like crazy, guys. The triggers he's getting right now are insane. So Dawn -3. I play out the Kin Killer, swing for 9, GG. Just unrelenting aggression, right? Just unrelenting, unstoppable aggression is kind of the name of the game when it comes to Red Purple Law. And if you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions on any of my plays, please put them down in the comment section below, guys. And I read all of the comments, guys. I really do. If I miss a comment, then I apologize because it's very rare that I miss one. Okay, next up we have Perona, green-black Perona, which is actually a pretty tough matchup if it's a good Perona player. And I do expect Perona to see some traction as well over in the West. I think a lot of... At my locals on Friday for the first night of OP07, I think there were 3 or 4 Peronas. And I think it was like a 40-player tournament, and it was like 3 or 4 Peronas, guys. I was like, whoa, okay, this leader... I knew one person was going to play it because they're one of my friends. Okay, so Dawn... So I did Dawn... I played out Pudding after swinging 5, Dawn -3. That play is absolutely incredible, guys. Removes what they had on the board. It establishes 2 bodies, and we're off to the races. But we know what Perona can do. Perona can just tap down every turn, get a card, easy peasy. I return 1 darn. I return 1 Dawn there. So watch this. Swing 5, play out the Raise Max, bottom deck your Ryuma, Dawn -3, play out Shashi and Penguin. Hey, double Shashi and Penguin opener is nice, guys. You can do a lot of shenanigans with that opener. Now, this guy is seeing pretty much everything he needs. Like I said, he started off with the Ryuma. I think he has another one right here. He's going to swing 5 into 1. I have to save it because I saw him draw the Ryuma from the Momonosuke. Okay. Now, next up here, looks like this is a Reiju turn if I've ever seen one, right? I mean, actually, but I think I kind of messed up there. So, pause, we're going to talk about it. Messed up for sure. Messed up for sure there, because what I should have done this turn is just swing 5 into Momonosuke, it's gone, and then 5 at face, 5 at face. Then what I could have done was, oh, actually, I'm sorry. I think I'll be fine, but I shouldn't have done that last Dawn, because I could have played out the Gordon there, or excuse me, the Raise Max to -3 the Ryuma, cheat these cards into play, go down like 2 cards, that's fine, and like I'll be able to get it all back with the Black Widow, or the Black Maria, I always say Black Widow, the Black Maria there, and I could have gotten it. I messed up on this turn, guys. So again, just to be very clear, what I should have done is, for 1, I should not have attached 1 Dawn to this character. I should have just swung 5 into Momonosuke, then 5 at leader, and then pay 1 Dawn to play out the Raise Max to -3 the Ryuma. Use the leader effect, excuse me, wait. I would have to play out the Black Maria first, then Dawn -3, to get rid of the Ryuma and cheat out the Reiju and draw 2, and then my hand will be back up to 2, and I'll have a full board in that way, and his board's gone. So this is a play mistake turn here. Let's see what I choose to do, though. Oh, I'm just getting super aggressive. Yeah, I'm still going to get rid of the Ryuma, and I guess I'm just not going to care about the Momonosuke. That's fine, too, I guess, but I still think the other way was actually technically better, for those who are wondering. I mean, my opponent is definitely not out of the woods yet, right? Like, okay, at this point of the game, you can't just letting them have a card like that was a bad play, in my opinion. I should have countered out, and I should have done that whole entire last turn differently, in my opinion. But that's okay. Let's see what we get here. I think we're going to swing for 5 or 6. Okay, I'm going to swing for 6 here. See if he takes it or not. He 2K counters out. Play out Black Maria. Dawn -3 to get rid of the Momonosuke. Play out Reiju. Draw 2 cards. He has 3 cards in hand. What are they? Right. That's the question. And notice his trash. I flipped to it very quickly there. What does he have? A third Ryuma, by the way. A third Ryuma. He plays out that. You can be my samurai. Swing for 5. I think I counter out of this one because I can't counter out of the 9K. Okay. And swing for 9. You know, the interesting thing about a lot of these matchups is I feel like Eustace Kid's becoming worse and worse. Okay, he counters out of the 7 there. All right, let's see. Don't worry, though. This is red-purple law, okay? We'll just go ahead and play out the queen, and we'll draw a kid and kill her. Like I said, this is red-purple law, guys. You don't have to necessarily play the best. It's just insane, right? The stuff you can do with this deck. Swing for 7, GG, nothing he can do. Awesome. And he got another 2K counter. Like, I will say, if you rewatch that match, that dude had 2K counters like crazy. It was insane. Okay, and then last but not least, we got against Lucci. Red Purple Law and Lucci is becoming kind of like a classic battle right now. It's becoming I'm starting to see this matchup pop up a lot in the East. In OP08, by the way. And I think Lucci has the tools to defeat Law. In fact, not trying to spoil it, but we know for a fact Lucci has the tools to beat Law, and we've seen it happen recently. Okay, so right here, I did the exact same play I've been doing where I play out either a Black Maria or I play out a Pudding, and I get that full value from their effects. He's going to pop that. He has to, or I'm going to generate too much value from it. But I'm up to 4 Dawn now. I'm going to swing for 5. See what he does. It's these little poke attacks that are so annoying and that they're so hard to deal with. So he's at 5 cards there. I was hoping he would take that, and then I would have hit him with Trafalgar Law, but he doesn't. So we got to do things a little bit differently. -3 there. We're going to swing for 8. He's probably going to take that. Dawn -3, bottom deck that, play out Shashin Penguin. I'm back up to 3 Dawn, which means I can play out whatever I need to next turn on curve, like with I can either play out Eustace Kid, or I can combo a Raise Max with my purple Trafalgar Law, if needed. Okay, it looks like he's going to pop Shashin Penguin there. That's why I countered out of the Reiju. He did show the Who's Who search from Spandam, by the way. That's how I knew I had to counter out of that, which I probably would have countered out of anyway. Swing 5, he has to give me a card. Swing 5, has to give me a card. Okay, let's see what happens here. Just kind of waiting for him, see what he's going to do. And I think I'm just going to play out Queen here. Yep. And then I'm going to trash one of these Raise Max. I'm in a position right now where I'm considering whether or not I need to bottom deck this Spandam. And I do decide to do that. I play out Shashin Penguin, go back up to 3 Dawn. And now, I don't know how else to say it. I feel like he is in such a predicament. Okay, so what is he? I think he has 8 Dawn this turn. So I get a free block off with my Queen, and he's going to try to wipe the board here, so I need to counter out of this. I actually think I should have countered out with the Eustace Kid, but this is fine too. Okay, let's see what happens. He, I think, I don't know what did he mess up there, or did he pop something else? Did I miss it? I'm sorry, guys. I do have to go back real quick. Oh, he popped the Queen. I'm sorry, guys. He popped the Queen with that whole interaction there. Good stuff. Well played. My turn. Okay, so I draw for the turn. Let's see. I drew a Queen for the turn, another one. So I'm going to swing 5 into there. I'm going to swing 5. I'm just trying to get rid of his board right now because I need to set up for... I need to set up to win, and I can't do that until I get a little more Dawn at my disposal here. So right here, I think I'm going to Dawn -3. Yep, bottom deck the Helmeppo. Swing for 6 at face. There is no way for him to KO my Kid and Killer with a trigger currently, with the cards that are in the card pool. So I'm going to swing 6 and then 7. I'm just eating up this guy's hand. He does give me a 6 King pistol counter to get out of it. Very nice, very solid. But now what do you do? You know, now, and he actually just quits. The answer was not to just quit. I can tell you that much. If I were in the seat, you know, the driver's seat of the other player, I think this is actually a very good turn for him, because what I would do is I would Ice Age the Eustace Kid. Ice Age the Eustace Kid, attach maybe 2 Dawn to 3 Dawn. I would attach 3 Dawn to the Brook. So now I've used 4 of my 9 Dawn. And actually, he should be on 10 Dawn. Did he just not draw Dawn this turn? I'm not even sure what happened. He just kind of left for no reason. I guess he got overwhelmed. Because he could have very easily cleared out my board right here. Okay, he could have very easily cleared out the board by doing what I was saying. Where it's like, okay, swing in. So, excuse me, Ice Age the Eustace Kid. Attach 3 Dawn to the Brook. Smash 7 into my Kid and Killer. Popping the Eustace Kid. I can counter out of one of those, and I will try to counter out of that one because that will be the easiest one probably. And then he could swing 2 more attacks into my characters, and I'll have 1 character left. And actually, and he could have even done it where he popped something with Kaku as well. Yeah, I don't know. I think he left that prematurely, but at the same time, him winning that game was definitely not going to be easy. Okay, good stuff though. All right, so like I said, guys, only 3 games for today. We had a lot of news to talk about, but we're at least going to check out the deck list here that I recommend. So this is the OP07 list that I've been running, that I've been messing with. Now, everything we just saw, the 3 games we just saw, was OP08. And here's the nice thing about OP08. This card goes away. And if you don't have the money to afford this card, guys, it's not a problem at all. You can literally just put in, like, let me show you guys the budget version. So screenshot this if you want to run this version. Boom, take these out, take out the Gordons, and I'll just show you what to run real quick. Let me go to event real quick. So for replacing the, oops, I took out the Raise Max. I meant to take out, hang on. I'm sorry, guys. I just messed that up. There we go. I took out I took out the expensive one, or I didn't take out the expensive one. So for events, okay. Just run the Fire Fist as a 4 of. This is a nice card to get around small blockers anyway, and it's a 2 cost -4. So that will help you pop the 7,000 power cards, which is actually very relevant sometimes. Especially, I kind of expect to see more smokers pop up in the future, the 5 cost 7k smoker from the black card pool, and other 7k cards. So this event, where did it just go? Here. I think this is actually a very strong card. And if you need to take out a 9,000 power character, well, guess what? You can just combo this with either Otama or with your Raise Max, and you can pop a 9 cost, or actually even a 10 cost, right, at that rate. So it does have like a higher range, which is really solid sometimes. Okay, and then for replacing the Gordon, you ready for this, guys? Just run Ein. Like, it's not in this list. You can run this for now. It's really not going to be a problem. And everything else in this list is relatively affordable, I think, right, guys? Like, I think Raise, I think it's down to 10 or 15 bucks now. I don't know off the top of my head. And even this this Raise Law, this is just a preference thing. You don't have to run this card either. And if you're running the 4 Otamas like me, Fire Fist or Gordon, and then Raise Max, I don't know, and I think, and the 2 choppers, I think you'll be fine without these. But it would be nice to have 1 or 2 of these. I do think it's a solid card. And I think this has also dropped down in price recently. I forgot to move my face. Sorry, guys. Hopefully y'all can see where my mouse was. But yeah, that's it for the OP07 version of Law. For the OP08 version, let me show you guys. This list is like just incredible. I don't know how else to say it. Like the things it can do are just ridiculous. You've got the Sanji blockers. You've got your turn 2 play on going first and everything. Down to 3 Eustace Kids, because honestly, guys, I barely find myself playing this card because the tempo it can generate so quickly with like the Charlotte Puddings and Black Marias, playing out your 1 cost power reducers and cheating out your Reijus. And if I have a choice between playing the Queen and the Eustace Kid, I'm probably always going to choose Queen because it draws me 2 cards and lets me just toss a card I don't need anymore. So, I don't know. It's hard to say. Shashin Penguin, of course, is an absolute staple. It's too good for what it does. And it's a 2k counter later in the game. The card is just actually perfect. This is another card that came out with the leader in ST10. So, like, these 2 cards right here were literally made to be in the deck. And I would argue that Beppo is too. People argue that Beppo's not as good because sometimes it won't be able to gain you a Dawn like in a mirror match. Okay, like, I do see where you're coming from. But at the same time, you know, I don't know. It's one of the, you got to pick and choose your battles. If you want, you can replace this with Ein. That's fine too. But I don't know. The 1k counter on Beppo, and then like me, as long as I'm conscientious, like as long as I'm like trying to pay attention to like, okay, let me make sure my Beppo can use its effect. I think I've always been able to pull it off as long as I do things correctly. But every now and then it's true you can't get it off. And that's it, guys. Black Maria, like I said, everything else is just about the same. All right, that's it for the actual the breakdown portion. If y'all have any comments, questions, suggestions, hit me up in the comment section below. We are going to end the video off with a quick little art critique. Someone requested this recently, talking about the Bonnie picture over here, guys. What an absolutely incredible piece for Bonnie. We will talk about all of these since I have them all on the screen. We'll talk about every one of these. And apparently this comes out, the release date is July 27th, 2024. But I think that might be for the East. I'm not sure. Someone help me out in the comment section below. I'm not exactly sure. And that's always my rule, guys. If I mess up on something, please help me out in the comment section below. If y'all know what's going on and I missed it, help me out. Okay, I'm just a human. I'm just a mortal, right? Okay, so first up, let me talk about Sanji first, because this is actually my least favorite. The composition is fine. Where's my line tool at? Okay, let's go ahead and bust out like what's going on here. I gotta zoom out a little bit, and man, I gotta make the thickness on this really skinny because the picture was so small. We'll use this bright green. The composition's fine. You've got like this bow going on, and obviously, as always, I see the triangles in every single piece, and this one's got a few triangles. Like one is going like this, like we see. You know, like this is one of the triangles, and you can even argue that something like this is creating another triangle. We'll just put it like with this one, and then we'll put it going up like this. Boom. There's a triangle, and of course on the other side it's repeated. Boom. Looks really nice too. Like it's a really nice composition. It's a very interesting composition. It's not my favorite, but it's still very interesting. And then of course, let me grab the marker here, go up on thickness, and do like a maybe like a purple or a pink. No, maybe a purple. Let me do this purple. Like, notice what's going on back here. There's a lot going on, you know, with like there's some swirling going on that really softens up the edges of those hard contrasting triangles that are going on with the Sanji's pose. Like that pose is ridiculous, right? It's like a top-down view of him, and he's bowing his back or his chest out, and he's about to do like some really powerful kick, I'm sure. Really cool stuff there. Okay, moving on from there, let's talk about the Marco a little bit. This one's just kind of all over the place. It's very interesting, though. It actually, the composition that I see in this is actually very much of a yin-yang style. Hang on 1 second, guys. Let me pull it up like this. We'll rotate it this way. And instead of being like the more circular yin and yang or yin and yang style of separation, it's more like up here we have like this feathery animal style, you know, wing up in the top left corner. And then let me stamp this and invert it. Do it like, whoop, hang on, didn't do that right. I don't know what I'm doing. Let me just flip it twice. There we go. Okay. And then on this side, you have the more human form. So it's almost like it's split into these two different areas that are really interesting. Like I said, on one side, you have this animalistic feral side of Marco with the wing out like this. And then on the bottom side here, you have the more controlled human, you know, I guess the moral side of him or the human side of him that's still normal. So really cool stuff on that one as well. Then we got to do King. Whoever's been doing these, the most recent pieces on King have been doing just so incredible. Like the new art direction, I feel like they're taking this character is incredible. This has got all my favorite colors in here, like these blacks, and then like it's like a yellow, but I'm just going to call it gold for now because there's like a lot of yellow and golds all throughout. And then in the middle, you have the figure. And this is a really, really cool composition here because you have like this. You have like this going on. Let's do this. Then it's the same thing over here. Actually, let me go back with it. I messed it up. If I go like this, that'll be better. Yep. And then now let me flip it or stamp it. You have these little decorations are so nice. You know what I mean? The way they have this, it just looks so good. Like, look at this, guys. Like, the way they have this one framed is really incredible. And I know it's on all of these. Like, I do see it. Well, actually, it's on the Sanji one to a lesser extent. It's like, see, on the Sanji one, it's almost like these little tiny squares down here. Like, it's not that much. It's just like here, here, and then the top as well. Here and here. It's a little more subtle, and it's fine. But I feel like the way they did it with the King, composition is just better. And then look at this crown, guys. My goodness gracious. I'm just going to circle it. Let me go down to like super low thickness. Like up here where the crown is, just looks incredible. We've got some wings going on back here that we can see. Oh, they actually go much higher than what I just did. Hang on. So the wings actually pop up to here, it looks like. So we see the wings coming out there. The flames are just encircling the bottom. You have like this type of shape at the bottom where it's all coming together. Man, this is so nice. This piece is so nice. Okay, that's enough of that one. Let's finish off on the Vani. And all these, like I said, look really, really clean. Okay, very good stuff. All right. Now, this one, unfortunately, the resolution is not going to do it justice. The resolution is just simply not going to do it justice. But there is a common theme here, and it is the circular unity going on. So notice, let me get the circle tool out. Whoops. And let me put it like, notice right here. This one is telling a story, and it's all in the circles, right? Okay, it's of jewelry. Some spoilers going on here, guys. Bear with me. If you don't want any spoilers, you're about to get some. Back out now. So the circle here represents her as a baby, right? And this is her dad, right? This guy, Bartolomeo Kuma. And check this out. Or Bartholomew Kuma. I got Bartolomeo mixed up. And Bartholomew Kuma. So check this out, guys. Notice the pattern I'm starting to make, by the way. This is her memories of her father. And look at this, like some of her fondest memories. And then in the middle, okay, we have this final piece of her. Let me get it where it's just right. Gotta do it justice. And look at the shape it made with the green, guys. Do y'all see the shape it made? That's that paw print from Kuma. It's so incredible. There's also another circle in the middle here behind her, and it's probably trying to show something to do. And notice you've got the dancing figures in the background. This is, even though she's sad, even though this is a nostalgic piece here, it's all for the greater good. It's for the greater cause. It's all going to create a perfect circle of balance. Outstanding piece. It has a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Intrinsic value, right? Like this is more than just like monetary value. This has like intrinsic personal value here. And at the top, of course, you do have these really nice triangles, as all, my absolute favorite, my absolute favorite thing to show in these. You've got your, you've got your triangle up here. This one's got jewelry in it. Let's flip it now. You got Bonnie, jewelry Bonnie up here at the top. You've got more circles at the bottom. I almost missed these guys. Look at these guys hiding down here. Really awesome. The little compass shape, because, that's what this is. This is her direction. This is her compass. This is her family. And really cool stuff. I also love the colors. They chose these extremely muted colors, like earth tones. Really good stuff there. The pink hair, the flowiness of it. That also, circles have a shape to them, right? And it's a very curved shape. It's a perfect circle. It's a curve, right? Well, the same thing is going on down here with the hair. It has the complementary waviness similar to that of like a circle. Do y'all see it? Very good stuff, man. This piece is so incredible. I need to see a bigger version of it. Good stuff. All right, well, that's it, guys. I could talk about art and ramble about this stuff for hours. I know not everyone wants to hear that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me go and bring up the page here for the playmats. Thank you to all the people who support me with the VV Pirates playmat supporters. Still got about 50 of these left. I'll put it down in the comment section for those who might be still interested. I got plenty of these, but I'm probably not going to reprint these. So once these are gone, guys, they're gone. You know what I mean? Not trying to push it. If you don't want it, don't get it. But I'm just saying for those who might be interested and who are thinking about it. And then lastly, thank you so much to the VV Pirates patrons. I got a whole page for you guys. Thank y'all so much. Y'all help in so many different ways. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Again, thank y'all so much for watching this far. If you did, please do not forget to like and subscribe if you've not already. And hope you guys enjoyed. And until next time, peace.